Yo, what's up? No ordinary men. Got a new little Lady Liberty. This is unannounced, little live deal, but I feel prompted to talk to you dudes at No Ordinary Men, and we need to get the movement going. We need to. We've got like 312 dudes. We need to rock this thing. We are at a crucial time in our in the stage of this world. We're in a crucial time. And so I didn't announce it. I know there's a bunch of dudes out there. I know there's dudes doing all kind of stuff out there. I just wanted to pop on here, do a live feed, and see what's going to happen with this thing. Let's see what happens. I'll tag some dudes. Let's see if we can get some dudes jumping on here. Because we got some important stuff to talk about tonight. Pretty important stuff. And I know this is unannounced, and I kind of did it unannounced because it's, like I said, it's just on my mind. And so I wanted to talk about a few things, and a lot of this is regarding to some things that are taking place in the country that I'm in. And so it may be relevant. It may not be super relevant to you, but what you'll find is that it is so totally relevant to you in this time. And as men, we had better get off our butts and do a couple things. And I want to talk to you about a few things first. I'm just tagging a bunch of dudes, getting some guys on trying this thing, right? So we'll see what happens with it. I know that in some, like California and stuff, guys are still at work, but oh well, your loss. I know that some dudes are getting ready to go out and they're meeting some dudes at some breweries. That's awesome. Have a cold one for me, an IPA, eat that good brewery food. Enjoy your freedom. Some of you are going out, get some iced tea, food, and different things with friends, man. Do that. Enjoy it. And, we'll try not to be too offensive. But I don't freaking care anymore, really, honestly. Because of the state that the world is in. And it is time for 300 dudes all over Guatemala, Belize, America, and Canada to get off their butts and do some cool stuff. That's Liberty. That's little Lady Liberty. A little ride-along companion I needed to get. It's getting a little crazy down here. And it's one of those things that when you poke the devil in the eye, he swings back. So you gotta be cool with it. You know what I mean? So let me finish tagging all these dudes. I don't know, man, how to do this stuff. But anyhow, we'll wait for a few guys to get on. I know there's a lot going on, and we'll just throw it on here, and we'll see what happens for all of you. But we honestly need to talk about a few things, and then have you guys respond out and such with it. So that's as much as I'm going to do. Hey, guys, what's up? Jerry, what's happening? Patrick, I tagged you from your slumber, brother. Good. I need to get you up. John T, what's up, my brother? Hey, listen, I have got some important stuff we need to talk about, and we need to rally up some dudes from the jungle. And I'm going to get a little heated tonight. I'm seriously going to get a little heated tonight. And again, I was talking about this is going to be relevant to what's happening in Central America, especially Belize, but it's also relevant to what's happening in America. And all this stuff that's taking place, though it's legit in people's lives, this is a legitimate smokescreen. And one thing I've been telling guys and talking about this, and you've got to be able to see it, is this simple fact that how corruption works, how corruption takes off and destroys people, is by removing freedom slowly and gradually from you. And I sent this thing out to a good friend of mine, Dallas, today. I heard it on a TV show my wife is watching, but I said, man, oh my gosh, so I looked it up from Benjamin Franklin, and it said democracy. There's this huge concept that America's a democracy. America's not a democracy at all. America is a republic. And a democracy is two wolves and a sheep sitting down deciding what's going to be for lunch. Liberty is a well-armed sheep, Benjamin Franklin. So what happens when you get a bunch of corrupt people together? They'll sit here and tell you, oh, it's democracy. We're trying to figure out what's best for everybody. But the reality is they're trying to consume you. They're trying to consume me. And how that happens is when God's men don't do anything. When they don't do anything. And now's the time for people to do stuff. I have never in my life seen corruption as rampant as it is right now. I never thought I would see it. Maybe it's just because I'm in it full speed. And, you know, we've had some threats against us in this. And I can't go into total detail with it, but just know this, that it's real. And so what I know is that we need to stop the foolishness, and we need to look at what's really taking place in our local governments, what's happening and who's running the show. Because the circus, the ringleader, is a puppet, baby. Listen, I was reminded of this. It's important. I want to read this, so bear with me on it. You know I'm not a religious dude. You know that I love Jesus with a passion, but we need to spread the word. It says, my friends, don't let public opinion influence how you live out your glorious Christ-originated faith. If a man enters your church wearing an expensive suit and a street person wearing rags comes in right after him, and you say to that man in the suit, sit here, sir, this is the best seat in the house, and either ignore the street person or say, better sit here in the back row, haven't you segregated God's children and proved that you are judges who can't be trusted? I'm going to tell you right now, people don't stand up, and this is a test of your heart. If you see corruption and don't stand up against corruption because you're afraid that if the corrupted person still gets elected, you won't get something from that cat, then you're as corrupt as that dude. Plain and simple. And what happens for people that are thinking that way is they need men to rise up and stand in the gap and say, look, we won't bow to that pressure. We'll stand in the presence of you. That old adage where it goes, hey, Jesus said this, if you gave the thirsty water, you gave water to me. If you clothed the naked, you clothed me. If you went to someone in prison who was there because of my name, you went and visited me. When you stand in the gap for people where there is injustice, you're actually ministering to Jesus, because he says that he is the God who brings justice where there is no injustice. But right now he's choosing you and I to be that people. You know what I'm talking about? So we need to spread this word. We need to look deep within who we are as men and stop being cowards. Like, if you're afraid that if I vote for this guy, and I'm talking to my homeboys now in Belize, if you're afraid that if this party gets elected or that party gets elected, I won't get a job, break the cycle. Stand up and be a man. What the country needs is men. I've said this from the beginning. When men stand up and turn their hearts to God, right? When men stand up, turn their hearts to God, God will rescue the nation through the men. This isn't derogatory towards women at all. But what I'm saying is, men, we've lost it and we've let people cut our nuts off. And so we've just given freedom away so that we can live a safe, happy life. Like, we've given liberty away so we can just be safe. Right? Listen, friends, isn't it clear by now that God operates quite differently? He chooses the world's down and out as the kingdom's first citizens with full rights and privileges. The kingdom is promised to anyone who loves God, and here you are abusing these same citizens. Isn't the high and mighty who exploit you, who use the courts to rob you blind? Aren't they the ones who scorn the name Christian used in your baptisms? Listen, man, I recently sat with a couple government officials and was mocked by an attorney over my faith in Jesus Christ. I was mocked by him. I thought, should I be silent over this? No, I won't be silent over this. I sat with an attorney that represents this nation, and he mocked me openly for my faith in Jesus Christ. That's right. And I will not be silenced. I told the dude, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but now's the time for you to be quiet and listen. Now, I'm not talking about being rude and all that honor stuff. And all you cowards, the coward guys, the dudes that are behind the pulpits that are cowards, stand up and take note. Stand up and take note. I'm not talking about Romans 12, 13, and 14, where it talks about us being honorable and honoring the government. I'm all with that because I serve the Lord and I love Jesus with a passion. But I will not hide behind cowardice and let people mock and live in corruption so that I can just have my little body of believers and talk to them about Jesus. It's hypocritical. It's hypocritical. I know I'm ranting, but it's ranting in love, dudes. And in a moment, I'm going to open this up for your questions. Get dudes on this thing and start popping on the questions. Seriously. We need to start standing up and taking back what's rightfully ours. Seriously. We need to stand up so others will stand up. It's crazy. You do well when you complete the royal rule of scriptures, love others as you love yourself. But if you play up to those so-called important people, you go against the rule and stand convicted by it. You can't pick and choose in these things. Dudes, we've got dudes. We've got dudes that will openly support corruption and then hide behind the Bible and say, the dude deserves a second chance. I'm with you. But seriously, dude deserves a second chance. Yeah, you can throw the Bible at me. You can throw all that stuff, man. God, he forgives sinners and all that. You don't know the whole story because the story's about you. I was talking to a group of outstanding men last night. Men that are going to go out and change the world. And they are changing the world. And one of the things I was sharing with them is that, have you ever noticed that in the book of Chronicles, all of a sudden in the middle of book of Chronicles, there's these dudes, David's mighty men. You know why? Because as Lieutenant Grossman said, there's three types of people in this world. There's wolves, sheep, and sheepdogs. And in the middle of this book of Chronicles, God says, I'm going to place men that are scary to everyone. They scare the bejeebers out of the wolves, and they scare the holy heck out of the lambs. But the lambs love them when the sheepdog shows up when the wolves are trying to eat them. But once the sheepdog kill the wolves, the sheep don't like, right? They don't like the sheepdog because the sheepdog has fangs. Guys, men, we're supposed to be sheepdogs. We're supposed to stand up against injustice. We're supposed to, when we recognize it, we stand up against it. We don't leave it for someone else to do. We're not supposed to. If you'd turn a blind eye to evil and corruption so that you can make personal gain, then you are as corrupt as that person, make no mistake about it. Then you are corrupt as that person. So it's time, listen, this is craziness. And so I'm sitting here talking to all of you tonight as men going, hey, it's time to rise up biblically. But as men, get your manhood back. We can make change. We can overtake corruption and human trafficking. We can do it. But it's going to take a bunch of men who are willing to sacrifice and willing to put safety aside. You know what I'm talking about? Be able to put safety aside for other people. Your comfort aside for other people. I never thought in my 52 years that I know I've read about it. I know that my grandfather would talk to me at depth about World War II, but I never thought I would see what they saw in the years prior to World War II. I honestly never thought that I would see it played out, and it's being played out, where men would rather be in the company of corruption and in the company of freaking evil so that they could make personal gain and be okay with it, so that their families could be safe and prosperous. I never thought that. Like I said, we're in it here. Yeah, I'm a missionary, but we're in it. We're in it. I'm not your typical missionary. I love what Victor Marx says. He talks about high risk. We don't go out, promote what we do, but we're going to start a little bit. We're deeply combating human trafficking and going after corruption in the name of Jesus. And we're fighting for those who can't fight for themselves. For years, for over 10 years, I've struggled with Isaiah chapter 1 as a believer in Jesus Christ. Totally struggled with it. Because God said to do these things. He said, fight. Actually get bloody for orphans. Bring justice to where there is no justice. And I would share it with pastors, and they would give me the last 200 years of biblical Christianity, where the last 200 years is trumped when Jesus was talking. That we become so sophisticated and knowledgeable in all of our seminaries that we know more now than Paul knew then. That we can decipher Paul's thoughts because we take some Greek and Hebrew classes. And we make it so grandiose and sophisticated that we take away the simplicity of the gospel of Jesus Christ when he says, don't let anyone hurt a child. And if you have to get bloody, then be bloody in protection of them. Oh no, we're a civilized society now. Let's just hold up picket signs. Listen, the poor are getting their clothes ripped off their back. I've witnessed it here. I've witnessed poor people in this country who can't get property, and the rich just go out and they take property, taking the clothes off their backs. I've seen widows, when there's no longer a man to fight for them, we're seeing these people in these lofty freaking ivory tower cake eaters take from the widows. And I'm not seeing men stand up and fight for them because it might cost them something. I know that if it's happening here, it's happening in America. But are you willing to risk? Dude, I got dudes showing up at my property giving warnings to me. So be it. Game on, suckers. I love Jesus. I know where I'm going. And I will stand up. You know what I'm saying? We'll stand up against corruption and injustice. We need to. This global... Listen, there is a pandemic, but it's a pandemic of fear, a pandemic of corruption, and they're driving this narrative, and they're doing against everything that Jesus talks about. It is an assault on Jesus Christ, and we as men in the church sit back and take it. Kiss me first. Do you know what I'm saying? When will we stand up, we band of brothers? When will we stand up and make our message? Well, we're afraid of what people will say because it might cost us something. It might cost you something. Man, it's unpopular. Can I tell you this? Again, back to that thing. The sheep hate the sheepdog because they consider it a wolf once the sheepdog has killed the wolves. My thing is, as sheepdogs, as men, you better recognize the fact that not everyone's going to love you, and this isn't a popularity contest. It's leadership 101. I lead out of love. I don't lead out of popularity. Because at the end of days, we plant trees for people to sit under with the shade that you and I will never experience, because that's what Jesus did for you and I. It's time, men. It's time to stand up, take back what's ours. Seriously, it's time to have your voice be spoken. There's nothing more powerful than love. And this whole idea, if you say nothing and all that, I'm not telling you any of that crap. That whole political agenda, that whole political stupidity, the narrative that the media is pushing on COVID, on the race and everything like that, it's all a narrative they want. And we as believers, supposed followers of Jesus, sit back and take it. Like, I didn't even hear the outrage, the vocal outrage of men behind pulpits in California who actually stood up and said, yeah, come and take it, Newsom. Like, honestly, because your churches needed to hear that from you. That you're a man that says, well, my actions. I agree in your actions, but we could go further on in James. It talks about faith without works is dead, and works without faith is dead. It's actually being the leader and leading from the front regardless of what anyone says. Because you're doing it in Jesus' name. I'm not talking about revolt in the sense of just revolt for revolt. I'm talking about rising up because there's souls at stake here. There's absolute souls at stake. And there is men and women who are looking for men to just lead. There is children waiting for fathers to get back in the home. They're looking to see, what will a man do? What will a man do? Or will we just take it? Hey, I want to open this up now. I kind of ranted. I'm telling you, the corruption and just the overwhelming sense of, well, let's just let these things happen. Human trafficking, if it doesn't affect me, then if I don't know anybody, oh, that's bad, but we do nothing, then what kind of men are we? Recently I spoke with an attorney under the table. We were talking about trafficking, and here's what it came. Well, because they're not sex trafficked, and because this government's so powerful and they give so much money, and the people that are being trafficked, their life in trafficking is better than where they were stolen from. It's hard to get them to talk, but when they do, the country they came from won't do anything about it because they don't care about them. So the people remain silent and will spend an entire life in slavery. And we as Christians walk by them every day and do nothing. And we lift up our voice to do it. If it's not sexy, you won't get money for it. And yet we're fighting for them. And the very people we fight are threatening us. Well, I got myself a new little ride-along buddy. I'm going to keep preaching Jesus, but I'm also going to get down and dirty because I believe that's what God has called men to do. It costs to rescue a nation. So if you're in Belize, it's going to cost you men to rescue a nation. If you're in America, it's going to cost you to rescue the nation. Jesus is good for it. He's good. But you're going to have to get down and dirty. And sometimes you're going to have to love those who you're not really ready to love, but it's going to cost you safety. You know what I'm talking about? So I want to open this up. Friends, let's go with this for about 10 more minutes. I think it's Paul that said that we will not do anything for Christ if it's not going to cost him. That's right. It's not going to cost him. Brad, discernment. God gives discernment for his kids. You either use that or keep it in your head and your head in the sand. That's a good word. So if you've got something to say, if any of you out there got something to say, let's talk about it. That is truly a good word, man. Like, it will cost you. God said it. It cost Paul everything. It cost Paul his eyesight. And then the dude cost him his life. That's true though, Brad. Like, if you, he gives you discernment, but if you just keep it and you don't share it with your kids, you just shove your head in the sand. Just shove it in the sand. Brandon, man, it's cool to see you. What should we do about people in media who distort Jesus? Jonathan, yo, dude, call them out for what they are. Look, you can do it in honor and love, but call them out for what they are. You're going to get slammed by a whole lot more people, but call them out for what they are. Do it in truth and love and in honor, but be a man about it. Like, it's just how it is. When this attorney's like rolling his eyes and mocking me, I told him he could no longer talk. I said, you're not allowed to talk anymore. And I just let him have it in Jesus' name. Right? And then he tried to apologize to me. And he's like, I'm sorry I offended you. I said, no, you didn't offend me because I would have to give you power over me to offend me. And you don't have power. What you were doing is discriminating against my faith. So you could do that. That's awesome, Jonathan. You just have to stand up and say it and be the louder voice and be a man. But it may cost you, right? Brad said, man, God will not be mocked, right? Yeah, don't cower. Don't cower. I'm telling you, when I was having this meeting, you could feel the presence of God in the room. Because at first I realized real quick that, oh crap, I'm the only dude in this meeting. And I'm just surrounded by their think tank. You know what I'm saying? And so Jonathan replying to, oh, you emailed them. Awesome, dude. Awesome, Jonathan. Let's keep it going. Who else is out there? Yo, dude, did I see... Okay, wait, I gotta look. Hey, Richard Andrew, what's up, man? Richard, if you guys don't have Richard Andrews' album or you're not listening to this cat, his one song, when I first went to Band of Brothers, changed my life. As a matter of fact, Richard, you don't know this, but I put it in the car when my wife first picked me up. She picked me up from the airport. She said, what happened to you? She goes, you have got your joy back. And I said, oh, dude, you got to hear this song. And so I played a song from you, Richard, and it was pretty amazing. So if you guys don't have Richard Andrew, you need to get on iTunes. I don't know if you're on Spotify. Are you on Spotify? Answer back if you are, iTunes or whatever. You need to download his stuff because it's awesome. It'll change your life, man. It's totally good stuff. Let's see. I'm looking because if I see, hey, John T. Patrick, I woke you up from your slumber. Jerry Roberts in Arizona. Jerry, we're going to get a Band of Brothers to you, right? We're going to get that thing going because we need a bunch of dudes. Armin, hey, Armin, what's up, man? Brian Hilton, what's up, my brother? Anyhow, dude, Joshua, and this dude, you know what I'm talking about. He just did a killer. I was pretty stoked for him. He just did 5 gallons of First Chronicles 10:13. So, yeah, pretty awesome for you. Jerry said, let's do it. We need to do it because that's how the world will start taking notice when men start standing up. Jerry, you know that. We've rallied around and did stuff as kids, man. But that's how it starts to begin to change our communities and our societies is when men start doing stuff, not little boys, men start doing stuff. And so we are definitely in the works on that, on getting that to Arizona, and we're trying to work on a team. I'm going to get Brad to the one in California. If they do it, I don't know. Because right now people are afraid of COVID. So we got to try and figure out the COVID thing. Shoot, dude. But anyhow, I ranted at you guys tonight. But I needed to get that. Hopefully this gets spread out a little bit more on No Ordinary Men. But guys, you can't. Here's the big thing is I shut out, let you guys go have a cold one or go have a nice dinner with your family, whatever you're going to do. I can't tell you that you will never be able to compromise with evil. And I don't care. You know, some people, the kinder, friendlier people will tell me, well, John, you know, they're people just like us, and they've made mistakes. Yeah, that's true. People have made mistakes, but I'm gonna tell you something. We all fall in that category. We've all fallen short, but there are some who absolutely straight up choose to do evil. They don't choose Jesus at all. They've neglected God and they choose evil. And that's what I'm talking about. Men need to rise up against that. And you need to say, hey, I won't tolerate that. It ain't going to happen, not on my watch. Shameful that, Brad says, shameful that 80% of the church up here have cowered to the governors and mayors. I've lost respect for so many. Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, there's one thing to be honored, honor people. Like here's the deal. Let me just give you a real quick take on that. Like, I don't believe in wearing a mask. I don't believe there's scientific evidence. I know all kind of people say blah, blah, blah. There's too many people that talk about it. Stanford University doctors came out and said, well, your odds of dying of COVID are like, you're more likely to die in a car crash. Dr. Victory just came out, who's a respected doctor, that said, hey, if you're healthy, you probably shouldn't be wearing a mask, right? But here's the deal. I'm also not going to walk into an old people home without a mask on. That's what true. We love each other, and I'll take that freedom and my liberty because I'm going into people who are at risk. You understand what I'm saying? If I'm going in to visit somebody in the hospital, I'm going to wear a mask. Why? Because if you're in the hospital, you're at risk. And so I want to honor you and respect you, but don't expect me to walk around all day with a mask on, outside in the fresh air, rebreathing in what my body is exhaling, which isn't good for me. That's how that works, right? When we breathe, so all these people that are all these mask freaking Nazis, when you breathe, your body traps stuff, but when you exhale, you're exhaling monoxide, right? Carbon monoxide, which is bad for you. But if you have a mask on, I don't care what they say, you're rebreathing some of it. And if there's any particles like pollen or anything that didn't attach because your body is made so amazing, when you breathe it back out because it didn't attach, then you're going to breathe it right back in really fast and let it attach. Common sense rules, man. Common sense rules. So, I think that that's the case, that these guys have cowered to these governors. Defund the police. Let's defund justice. You know what you're saying? I don't know how any Christian could do that. Seriously. Let me rephrase that. A follower of Jesus. I'm not sure how they do that. Let's defund police. Oh, well, let's defund justice. Hey, God, we only want the justice that we like. It doesn't make any sense, right? Man, Brad's got it. We need to get other people jumping on this like this that are willing to talk. You guys got to put it out there so we can respond to it, so you can be Facebook famous. If you're mature in the Lord, you can read your Bible and pull wisdom from it, but by ripping away worship, the presence of God as he comes down to partake, it's criminal. Yeah, it is criminal. Jesus said, don't let it happen. That's why he gave us Daniel. Daniel, all these people that talk about Daniel and they prophesy all the prophetic stuff, and you got all these dudes, and I love it when dudes just like flannel graph Bible stories. It's almost a slap in the face of these Bible rock stars. Do you think the story of Daniel is just a cute little story with lions in the den? And no, history repeats itself. And God's trying to let you and I know that this is happening, and you can't preach it away because you live in 2020 and went to Bible college and seminary. You can't preach it away. The reality is, if it happened to Daniel, it's going to happen again. And it has been happening, and God's showing you how to handle it, that there will be those who show up on scene that will say, you can't worship Jesus Christ. You'll worship who we say to worship, or you'll worship when we tell you to worship, and allow you to do it when we allow you to do it. And God said, no, I told Daniel not to do that. And I showed you how it turns out. He got thrown in the lion's den. But I shut up the lions. Are you kidding me? Do you think that do you think Daniel wasn't butt puckering it at first? That dude was like, what the holy... Yeah, he was a man. We get this weird picture of this like, oh, no, dude. That cat was going, what? Like, you're honestly going to throw me in that pit? And down he went, and then the power of God, just like God's done for so many of you. Well, listen, that story is a reality. And so all those who are cowering, they're cowering to this idol. It may not be a huge golden statue of Nebuchadnezzar, but it is a big golden statue of the power of the government. We are your benevolent lords. We know what's best for you. Man, that's what this is talking about in the book of James. The book of James. Like, what are you talking about? Jesus says, if you play that card, you're as guilty as the person that's doing it. And if you let it happen, you're as guilty as them. Right? It's crazy. Gosh. So anyhow, dude, I'm going to sign out, let you guys go out and do what you needed to do. But I have to tell you, in Belize and in America and all of us guys, and you stand up and fight against corruption, you're mandated to do it. You seriously are. We're mandated to stand up and be men that have a voice of love and passion, but we will not tolerate, and we will fight against the things that hurt other people. Like even this whole thing, like the pandering that's gone on. And I've talked to friends in the South and different dudes and all that, and I don't want to get all crazy because, people just get stupid with it, but if you have an all-white church, and you've been in an all-white church for 20 years, and right next door to your church is a neighborhood that looks different. It's all black neighborhood. And for 20 years, you haven't reached out to do anything to make that neighborhood better, that you haven't reached out and welcomed these people in, to welcome them in and show the love of Jesus that the Bible talks about, that doesn't matter what color you are, because the color is the beauty of God. And when you see people that look different than you, you see the beauty of God in it. If you don't see that, something's wrong with your heart. Honestly, there's something wrong with your heart. And so you can, identify, oh, that's a black dude. Hey, that's an Asian dude. Hey, that's a Spanish dude. But you also, when you see him, you go, wow, God's so good, creative in it. If for 20 years you haven't done anything, and then this thing happens, and then suddenly you're crying, and you're washing feet, and you're pandering, where was your heart 10 years ago? Where was your heart last year? Did Jesus just now, in the last month, tell you to go love everybody? Facebook heroes, man. Just like in sports, you have your practice heroes. You know what I'm talking about? You got those dudes that are practice rock stars in football. You guys, if you've played any kind of competitive sport, whether it be baseball or football or whatever, these dudes are just rock stars at practice, but they never see game time. It's the same thing within the church, man. The bride is beautiful, but we've got some leaders that probably shouldn't be leading. Like, I'm looking at this going, why haven't you? Like, one of the things that I've struggled with in Belize is dudes will tell me, I'm going, man, I'm working with the government, doing a bunch of stuff with the government. And they'll say, oh, yeah, but what about the people? Huh? What? Yeah, well, what about the people? Aren't you supposed to be ministering to the people? Who do you think makes up the government of Belize? The people of Belize. You know what I'm saying? It's scary. God told me from day one, minister to everybody, no matter what country you're in. I'll share it with you guys. I'm not afraid. If people try to kill me already. It is what it is. Shh, don't tell people that. Yeah, it's happened. I've had guns pulled on me in Belize. I've had people threaten my life in this country. When we were in Albania, I had people put a hit on my life. Listen, God has pulled me through. Is he going to do it every time? I don't know. That's above my pay grade. That's his department. But my department on this side is with my love because it comes from him to me. For others, is to live that out. And for some, it's just spreading the good news of Jesus Christ, letting them know that their wounds can be forgiven of them, that their pains and their sins can be forgiven. Their wounds can be healed. Their pains can be forgiven. Their heart can be recaptured by Jesus. And for some, it's to step into the gap and say, no, you won't hurt this person anymore. And for some, it's to rescue. You know what I'm saying? Shh, quiet. You might offend the wrong people. Well, so be it. That's what we are as men. We're supposed to do that. So listen, guys, go out and be who you are. Enjoy tonight. Man, if you are a brewery type of dude and you want to go have a brew and some good brewery food, then go do it. But be smart, honor God in it, but enjoy your friends and your wife and your family or whoever. Enjoy them. If you're an iced tea guy and you just want to go out and get some food and with your family, go do it. Go catch I don't know if dudes are doing movies or anything, but maybe you just want to sit at home and Netflix it out or whatever. I don't know. Go do it. Have fun tonight. Enjoy your family. I'll close it with this, man. I've been privileged enough in the last 18 years to work and be a part of some really fun dudes that are high speed. And one thing I notice about these dudes that put their lives on the line all the time is they know how to party good. They know how to celebrate good. And when a party, some of you guys go, party, you mean they get drunk all the time? No. But they know how to celebrate. They know how to party. They know how to enjoy each other and their families and other people's families way better than us rigid, stiff Christians do. They know how to celebrate Jesus style. They honestly do. And we as a body could learn from it, man. We really could. We're so uptight. Oh, they had wine. Oh, they had a beer. Oh. Because these dudes know that tomorrow isn't promised. So tomorrow's not promised. So tonight, go out and love somebody. Love your family. Love your kids. Love your friends. Enjoy a cold one, whatever that may be. Hey, tip scotch, have a glass of scotch. I don't know what it is. I know a lot of pastors be like, oh, demon man, he's talking about whatever. Smoke a cigar. You know what I mean? Enjoy your family and friends. Enjoy Jesus. Know that Jesus loves you with a passion. And Jesus wants to walk you through your manhood. He wants to walk you through this. And he wants to showcase you in all of the heavens and the universe. He wants you, right? He wants you to be the one who shows the world the true hero of Jesus Christ. Hey, I love you guys. I'm out from the jungles of Belize. Pray for us. If you know anybody who wants to give to ministry, man, we could use it in crushing evil. You know what I'm talking about? And developing family and getting men back with their kids and wives and all that good stuff. So, hey, Brandon, I love you, brother. Take care, dude. I'll talk to you soon. I'm out from the jungle. All of you guys go out and kick it. And let's do this. Hey, hey, a good friend of mine is going back to Bulgaria. He's a tattoo artist. Who wants to go to Bulgaria and get a tattoo together? Should we make the trip? Come on, man. What if a bunch of dudes just fly to Bulgaria, get tattoos in Bulgaria from this awesome tattoo artist, talk about Jesus and stand up as band of brothers, as men who just love Jesus and are willing to do the right thing. You know what I'm talking about? And just spread Jesus all the way around. That's what I'm talking about. So, hey, preach the good news. Don't preach morals and ethics. Preach Jesus, right? I love you guys. Out. Have a great, great, great Friday night. Love you guys.